Hey everyone, it's Peek. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Pokemon Unite video. So today I'm going to be going over Greninja in its entirety. I'm going to walk you guys through all the knowledge that I've built up over all the time I've spent playing him in both the Canadian regional beta in March, as well as the most recent Japanese beta that happened on Switch. So I've played Greninja both on phone and on Switch, and in at least the Canadian regional beta, I was the top Greninja in the server, as well as just in terms of, raw experience. I probably played him, I've probably played Greninja more than most people, I would say. I'd say that's a pretty conservative estimate. So I have a lot of experience on Greninja, a lot of experience on the character in Teamy's other mobile MOBA called Arena of Valor that plays very similarly to Greninja, called Hayate in that game. So the kit, it's interesting because Greninja's kit is very almost identical to the kit of Hayate in Arena of Valor, and that is the champion I primarily used to climb to the highest rank in that game as well. So I have a lot of experience in this mobile ranged assassin type of role in terms of mobile MOBAs slash, I guess, Switch MOBAs. So I just want to kind of get that out of the way to establish the fact that I definitely know what I'm talking about when it comes to Greninja, and I don't say that to be rude or anything. I'm definitely still a probably just advanced player on most of the other Pokemon in the game, but I would say in terms of Greninja, I would consider myself an expert. So just getting that out of the way to say that you guys can count on me to lead you in the right direction in terms of playing Greninja and how to play him well and how not to play him, which I think interestingly enough is probably one of the most important things to keep in mind while playing Greninja, is just being cognizant of how to not play him and how to play safe and how to just not end up dying a bunch on this very squishy yet very high damage character in the game. So I'm just gonna kind of just start talking about it. I'm gonna let this game run in the background. Obviously, I probably won't commentate about it that much. It was just it was a solid game, like very early in the well, I guess not early in the test, but these were some of the people that were kind of like higher on the leaderboard. I think we ran into it. This was a 5-man queue. So anyway, it was a pretty good game, and figured I'd let that run in the background, obviously, so you guys can have some Greninja gameplay while I'm talking about it. So I guess the first thing to talk about with Greninja, and I guess Pokemon Unite in general, is that all Pokemon have a third bonus that kind of happens every third basic attack or third auto attack, however you call it. And obviously with the exception of Garchomp and Charizard, they have a little bit of different mechanics with their auto attacks, but for Greninja, he follows the same pattern as most of the Pokemon in the game, where they have a bonus that happens depending on if it's a third basic attack or not. So an interesting thing about that is that Greninja has both a ranged and a melee auto attack, which makes it very unique. It's, the only Pokemon in the game that has that unique split between their basic attacks. So Greninja's ranged basic attack is just your standard, standard auto attack. But every third auto attack is going to do a little bit extra damage as well as just slow the enemy. So as you can see here, I mean, perfect example. My third auto went off and I was able to slow him down a little bit so I could catch up to the Fletchling, or is it a Fletchling? Yeah, I can't remember. But anyway. So super good for kind of just like chasing people or, getting away if you're trying to kite away. So there's a slow attached to the range portion, whereas with the melee portion, you probably saw earlier that we got quite a lot of damage done early in the game towards the beginning, and a lot of that was from my melee attacks. The melee, meaning like when you're in close proximity, for those who aren't familiar with the term melee auto attack, it just means when you're close by. Basically, if you're far away, if you're close is going to be melee. If you're far away, it's going to be ranged. But a melee basic attack for Greninja, the bonus is max health % damage. So as a percentage of a Pokemon's max health, not like the current health they have, like truly just a percentage of their max health. So great for shredding tanks, great for, I mean, shredding anyone. It's one of the few abilities, as far as I know, in the game that is anywhere in like the percentage based damage realm. So it's I guess Cinderace does as well. So you know, something to super duper keep in mind is that Greninja's melee auto attacks are incredibly potent, and you can really just like clean up shop with them. However, Greninja's also very squishy, so it's a constant battle of kind of knowing and thinking about, do I go in here? Do I stay at ranged? Because there are a lot of perks to staying in at a distance as Greninja. But, you know, there are times where you really want to go hard and you really want to just go in with melee attacks. And, I mean, you guys will see the damage when you're playing Greninja. The damage is ridiculous. Like, it's actually crazy. I mean, here's a good example of me just trying to get out using ranged auto attacks. You know, obviously with Lucario having the Unite move, movement speed boost, not very successful with that. But anyway, it's just something you want to keep in mind when playing Greninja, because he has that unique play style of you can either be in melee range or you can be at a distance. You want to just constantly be thinking about, where should I be right now? Positioning is so important as Greninja, and that kind of leads me into start talking about his different abilities that he has. So the first ability, you have the option of either Water Shuriken, which is the ability I chose for this game, or Surf. Now, I'm just going to tell you straight off the bat that Water Shuriken's the best. I will explain why, but Water Shuriken is such a unique skill. As you can see, like when I'm using it, I can move. Like you can actually move while using this skill, and it's a super unique skill, and it requires very precise aim. So if you're not super confident in the aim, you probably will get more out of Surf. But if you're feeling good about the aim, if you've gotten practice on it, a Water Shuriken is 100% gonna always be the better option. It just allows for way more versatility, way more kiting potential, meaning that you can get away from sticky situations way easier. Because the thing about Water Shuriken is similar to your bonus ranged auto attack. Water Shuriken not only gives you extra movement speed, but it also slows your enemy. So Greninja's kit is just perfect for maintaining the proper amount of distance from your enemy. You'll see here I'm going to throw a Water Shuriken out to just get that little extra boost of movement speed so that I'm out of range of Cramorant. Obviously I'm going to get blown up by Absol instead, but you know, it serves the purpose of spacing yourself out from your opponent. You want to always be aware of where your opponents are. Watching the minimap as Greninja is incredibly important. It's incredibly important on every character, but just being aware of what the threats are at the map what the threats are on the map at the current time as Greninja is vital to staying alive. As you can see, you can easily just get one shot by Unite move from like a Talonflame or someone else. It's just a super squishy Pokemon, so it's something you gotta watch out for. But Water Shuriken, yeah, so it slows enemies, gives you extra movement speed, you can move while using it. It does insane damage as well. Here's a little bonus hint for those of you who stayed this far in the video. Water Shuriken, now I don't know how many of you are actual like Pokemon fans, but Water Shuriken, interestingly enough, works the same as it does in the main series games. Now, what do I mean by that? Water Shuriken casts a random amount of shurikens. Which is kind of annoying sometimes, because sometimes you'll get a low amount, but like you guys will see while you're playing Greninja that sometimes you'll get like when it's at its max upgrade, you can shoot, I think it's 7 shurikens in total, which is just like, I mean, you're easily doing 4,000 damage with those, like easily, which is just crazy. Like that you can move away, that you can be like mobile while using that skill. It's like honestly insane. But there will also be times where you'll be like, oh, I have the max upgraded version of Water Shuriken and I only used 4 shurikens, which still, you know, does a lot of damage. But there will be some times where I'm like, oh geez, I got a low roll. But yeah, so it works the same as in the main series games. I think it's like 3 to 5 times that it hits an enemy, Water Shuriken. It's like a priority water move in the like actual Pokemon games, like the RPGs. So anyway, obviously it's a Greninja unique move. It's kind of fun sometimes. Like if you just like start hitting level 7, when you evolve into Greninja, that's when you get your first like Water Shuriken upgrade, or when you first unlock the skill. So it can be crazy sometimes when you get a very high roll. You can get up to 5. So it's like 3 to 5 at the base, and then when you upgrade Water Shuriken at like, what is it, level? Let me just quickly look here. Upgrade level 11. Shout outs to JJ Kuhn for that information. When you upgrade it at level 11, you can do 5 to 7 shurikens, or it might be 4 to 7. It's hard to tell. You'll see. When you get a high roll, you can tell that there's a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, pretty certain it's 5 to 7. So that's something to keep in mind about Water Shuriken. Now, I've talked about that for long enough. Let's move on to the second ability, which is Surf. Now, you won't see that in the game that I played here, but Surf is it's honestly pretty good. And like I mentioned, like if you're not feeling comfortable on Water Shuriken because it does require very precise aim in the game, then try out Surf because you may enjoy it. It gets you killed more often, unfortunately. And that's a problem as Greninja, because the second you die, you are depriving your team of so much potential damage. So yeah, what Surf does is it is a dash attack, so it gives you a little bit extra mobility, whereas Water Shuriken just gives you that little boost of movement speed. Surf actually is like a full-on dash. It covers like a wide area in front of you, and it allows you to hit multiple Pokemon at once. And the crazy thing about Surf is that it scales its damage based on how low the enemy's health is. So if you're going up to a group of Pokemon and your team has really gotten them super low and they're all around 20% to 30% health, if you have Surf, like as Greninja, you're actually doing more damage than Water Shuriken, because not only will you do a ton of damage to the low health enemies, when you have the upgraded version of Surf, every time you get a knockout with Surf, it has to be with Surf. It can't be with like your auto attacks or something. When you get a kill with Surf, it resets the cooldown of Surf, so you can use it immediately again. So, as you can imagine, that ends in a lot of pentakills. So, there's that potential there. There's definitely a time and a place for Surf to be used, and I encourage you guys to try it for sure. I think that the utility that Water Shuriken offers, as well as the strong damage, that's sustained, consistent damage, it's just kind of a no-brainer to take it once you're comfortable with it. But yeah, I think most people will probably be more comfortable starting with Surf at first, just because Water Shuriken is hard to hit, and every Shuriken you don't hit on Water Shuriken is less damage. And I know that sounds dumb. Obviously, that's duh. But it's a big thing to keep in mind. Like if you're not hitting your Shurikens, you have basically stopped doing damage for like 1.8/2 seconds. So keep that in mind. That is all of the first skills. Yo, also, I'm so sorry that I missed this in the video. Like I said, this is a complex Pokemon. One thing I forgot to mention about Water Shuriken is each Shuriken that hits heals you. Same thing applies for Surf. Surf heals you. Water Shuriken heals a little bit more with the most recent update. It didn't used to heal as much in the Canadian beta, but in this most recent Japanese network test, Water Shuriken heals quite a lot. So basically, Water Shuriken is not only amazing, but it gives you like health regeneration. It lets you heal yourself, on the run, which is kind of crazy. And Surf is kind of the same thing. You're dashing in, you're getting a big heal, so like you can kind of deceive your enemy, like, oh my gosh, he's dashing in at low health. JK, he had Surf, so now he's like healed, like, I don't know, it's like 15 or 20% of the health. I mean, it's a decent chunk, but it's not as much as Water Shuriken. So something to keep in mind when considering these two skills is that, you know, you are given some leeway to go into melee range, and that is given to you through the sustainability / healing that you get from your skill 1, whether it be Water Shuriken or Surf. Anyway, back to old me. So the second skills are a little bit simpler, thankfully. You have Smokescreen, which in my opinion, I didn't go with this game, but it is my preferred skill. You have Smokescreen, which basically puts a shroud of smoke around you. You stealth for 2 to 3 seconds, and you do bonus damage on your next attack with the upgraded version. So it's kind of crazy, like the amount of burst damage you can do with that extra attack damage that you get once you're coming out of the smoke screen with your first auto attack. It just applies to the very first auto attack, but if you're doing that with like a melee attack, the damage is insane. Like, let me tell you, you guys have to try it. Like, it's pretty crazy. So then the other skill you can go in skill 2 is Double Team, and that just splits Greninja into, you know, yourself as well as 2 other clones that kind of just like split off in a triangle from you. Now, this is still good, and the neat thing is that your clones actually auto attack whatever you're attacking or whatever's nearby at the same time, so it can be like pretty deceiving. But I will say that there is something that may or may not be fixed in the future, and that is the fact that if you lock onto a target using the screen over, what is it? It's going to be over here. On the right side of my screen here that you see where all the Pokemon portraits are. If you lock onto Greninja, you won't hit any of the clones when he uses Double Team. So just something to keep in mind. It's kind of a weakness of Double Team. It's not like super bad. Like I mean, not everyone's using that setting all the time, and especially in big team fights, like they're probably not going to be using it. So just something to keep in mind for that. It's definitely still strong. It's definitely still fun to play with. Like, I like to do it because it messes with people who are just like auto targeting, like a Pikachu. It's always funny when they throw like you could possibly die, but they throw the Volt Tackle on one of your clones, and you're just like walking away on the other side of the screen. So, you know, there's definitely a time and a place for it, but I do prefer Smokescreen, just because that stealth, as well as the I forgot to mention the blind. So if you smokescreen on top of an enemy, or they just walk through your smokescreen, they actually get their screen gets shrouded. And you guys probably saw this if you were playing against Greninja in any of the betas. But it basically cuts off your vision for it's a pretty decent chunk of time, probably like 3 to 4 seconds, I would estimate. So that it's just so good for getting away, and so good for limiting the enemy vision, that like you really don't want to go double team unless you're just like having a fun time with it, which, you know, there's a time and a place for it. Anyway, yo, you guys, this is post editing phase peak. You just gotta say one more thing about Greninja. One more little secret tip for you who have watched the video this long. Double team, while I still prefer smokescreen, if you feel that you have low ping and godlike reflexes, you do get invincibility frames during the animation of double team. So, you know, that can come in handy sometimes. You can actually, for example, if a Talonflame is diving in on you, the AoE circle appears before he lands there, right? If you have low enough ping and fast enough reaction time, double team, boom, you take no damage. So, you know, something to consider. All right, back to the video. Moving on to the Unite move. Greninja's Unite move, I will say, besides Venusaur, is probably the worst in the game. Just because the damage isn't amazing. However, if you use it as more than just a Unite move, then it can be pretty impactful. And what I mean by that is that you can use Greninja's Unite move for mobility, because you guys know there's these walls in the middle of the arena. You can actually jump over the entire length of the wall using that Unite move. So if you're in a sticky situation, don't be afraid to use Greninja's Unite move as an escape tool. Like, the thing is, Greninja is, like, your water shurikens are your main source of damage. So you always want to be able to be using those when you can. And if you're dead, obviously you can't be using them. So it's just, it's something you can consider. The Unite move is not great. It hits twice. That's the thing to kind of keep in mind about the Unite move. It hits twice. So you ground target an area. Greninja launches itself into that area without the Unite shield. And it's not until he bounces off of the shuriken that he gets the standard Unite move speed boost, as well as the Unite move shields that everyone gets when they use their Unite move. And that is why I say it's the worst Unite move, because he doesn't get his shields until he jumps off the shuriken, which a lot of the times, if you go in too aggressive, by that point you're already dead. Like, there will be a lot of times where you die during your Unite move because you are 100% targetable. Like, you're on the ground, you're not, like, you can be hit by anything. You can be hit by skills and auto attacks, ranged or melee, it doesn't matter. So you can just get, like, easily blown up if you Unite move too aggressively. So just be aware of that and keep that in mind. That's about it for the Unite move, honestly. Like, it's not great. I typically just use it for mobility, or like if you really do see enemies clump together and you see an opportunity, go for it, but just try and get back into a safer position right after you use it. And one thing that does make it a little bit easier to do that is that depending on which direction you're holding your control stick, at the end of the Unite move, you will jump off the shuriken in that direction. Hopefully that makes sense. So like if you're holding your control stick to the left, you're gonna jump off to the left towards your base. So, you know, a lot of times you wanna be aware of that, so you don't just jump to a random direction. Otherwise, I'm not even sure how it determines. It just probably just picks a random direction. But anyway, that's the Unite move. That's about all the advanced things there. If you've made it this far in the video, I have, let's see, I have 2 more little bonus tips about Greninja for you that are not found in any of the tool tips, or not found anywhere else. You're just gonna get them from me. So here they are. The first one, Water Shuriken, is a really funny skill because if you use it right before you die, your Water Shurikens still shoot out of your body. Or like where you were on the map. So you can actually kill someone when you're already dead using your Water Shurikens if you line it up correctly. So like literally, even when you know you're gonna die as Greninja, you gotta still play smart because you can still pick up a kill. Super funny interaction. Not sure like how long that will remain in the game, or if that's just like, if that's by design or something. But yeah, there's actually quite a few skills in Unite that work like that. But Greninja Shurikens are some of the biggest culprits of that because it's like a long animation. You know, it's like shooting multiple Shurikens. So something to keep in mind there. And here's the probably the most important thing to know about Greninja, a little secret hidden cooldown refresh tactic, is that your ranged basic attacks as Greninja lower the cooldown of your skill 1, whether it be Surf or Water Shuriken. And it's kind of crazy like how quickly you can get back your Water Shuriken or Surf, whatever it is, how quickly you can get that cooldown back just by auto attacking from ranged. It's just super important that, like I said, you prioritize damaging with Water Shuriken, and to do that, to get the most Water Shurikens out of a fight, you will want to be using your ranged auto attacks as much as you can from a safe distance. You know, you're not going to get blown up. And like I said, obviously, there's times where you go into melee range, but for the most part, you're going to want to just be cranking out as many Water Shurikens as you can. And by doing a bunch of ranged auto attacks from a distance, again, for those who are not familiar with those language, you're attacking from a distance, and that lowers the cooldown by about 0.8 seconds for every auto attack. So like you get 4 or 5 auto attacks off, you have Water Shuriken again, and you just weave auto attacks, Water Shuriken, auto attacks, Water Shuriken, and you're just lighting up an entire team fight. So those are the tips, you guys. That's Greninja. You will see a lot more Greninja play from me on this channel. It's obviously it's going to be my main 100%. And even if it gets nerfed, I will still play it because I think the kit in and of itself is like not broken, but extremely powerful and very potent. So even if it was to get a damage nerf, I'm pretty confident it would still be super strong and impactful in the right hands. Like I said as well, like Greninja is probably the highest skill cap champion in the game, or Pokemon, sorry, not champion. Gardevoir may fall in that category too once it is released, but for now I would say in terms of, you know, either Cramorant, not even though, I mean it's probably Greninja in terms of the highest skill cap champion or Pokemon in the game. Sorry, I'm gonna keep saying that just because I'm used to playing League of Legends, Wild Rift, and Arena of Valor. So that is probably it, I think. You guys, I mean, it's been a really long video. I'm sorry to take up that much of your time, but there are just so many nuances about Greninja's kit that you kind of have to walk through, and that I wanted to just lay out in plain sight for you guys, because I mean, I want you guys to succeed too at Greninja. I don't want to keep these secrets to myself. I want this game to grow, and I know a lot of people are super interested in Greninja, and by knowing all these little nuances about how each part of its kit works off of the other, you can absolutely play it to its full potential. You're going to need some super precise aim and a lot of map awareness to determine whether or not you're going to be in danger in a certain situation. But with that being said, I think that is going to be the end of this video. Let me know if you guys have any additional questions about Greninja or different interactions that you're curious about. I think I'm pretty sure at least I covered it all. At least everything I know. We're always learning every day though, so you know, if something else comes up, I will definitely make a video and let you guys know what those things are about it. But until next time, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, consider dropping a comment down below what you guys might want to see next, and subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon Unite. Until next time, I'm Peek, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace out.